You're always quiet, you fucking loser.
Alright, we are back.
Where were we?
No, we were
Talking
just
to
talking about,
Dark. You're asking Dark about the whatnots.
yeah, we
No,
were,
I thought I was
no, no,
done.
no, we were just, it was actually, we were asking you about, the overrated
Yeah.
tropes
Yeah.
that you might, about your dog too. We were asking about how you think about overrated tropes and with regards to, Chinese web novels and your dog. Well, mainly the Chinese web novels.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Overrated thing is I don't like how in these Chinese web novels that the protagonist always knows the answer to everything. Like
Yeah,
they're
I mean,
It's because
that's kind
Chinese
of a,
people are the smartest people on earth.
yeah, they all do math at the calculus level when they come
Easy.
out. But that kind of harkens back to what I keep talking about in terms of mystery versus detective series, right? It's like detective series, like, oh, I've got the answer, whoa, and like you can make a series like that and make it like shenanigans and like funny or whatever, but it's certainly not a mystery series, which some people might want instead of just kind of having the answer is kind of spoon fed, thrown to them rather, not spoon fed, thrown to them. It's like, oh, I have the answer. It's blah 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 blah. It's easy, and you're like, okay, I didn't see half of that evidence. Thanks. So
don't
I
worry,
think,
Spire. It's because he lived this in the past life. Therefore, he has experienced enough of two lives, so he knows what to do in this current situation.
what was
Like
the last romantic? What was the last non-romantic boy girl platonic? Well, in anime wise, I mean, I think there are one or two that I can remember, but
There's one in Sangatsu.
yeah, I mean there are a couple that are like existent in like slower like slice of life stuff where they're like more like an introspection or retrospection. But it's like, uh, I mean, having the romantic relationship is just so much easier for the artist. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm saying it's much easier, right? Where it's like, um, where it's like the risks, quote unquote, that romantic relationships give you is that people are just gonna be like, oh well, it's another rom, whatever. Like it's gonna be boring, like that sort of like potential like little risk, right? Compared to the reward, what do you get? You get an increased chance of easier development because they're in a romantic relationship. They have to do more like interaction stuff, right? There is more. There's going to be an easier way to get them together in the first place, because they're in a romantic relationship. And third, it's going to be easier to sort of handle how the cast acts around them, in terms of just like you know it's like if they're like together in like a romantic relationship, like the way the cast like interacts around them in terms of like jealousy or like you two blah 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 is much easier than it would be in a platonic relationship where then the author would actually have to think and be like, how does this character treat the boy, how does this character treat the girl, and just have this sort of like individual mentality instead of, oh, they're a couple blah blah blah, which makes it easier. And then finally, there's also the reward for fan service, right? People love seeing fucking romance couple icha icha, and I'm also a sucker for that. I'm not gonna lie. Obviously, it has to be good, but it is a thing that so it's like, oh, here's flirting, haha. So that sort of thing. Um, but yeah, I think that's all we had going on topics of like special discussion. We kind of want to make it pretty brief. Obviously, we've talked about similar issues for a bit, but we want to kind of focus it down and be like, and talk about stuff that we thought would be different stuff that we thought would be kind of overrated instead of, you know, going over or rehashing what we talked about before, which was like stuff like, the whole
Hey
like
Joe.
darkness, yeah, Keijo, darkness slash edginess, stuff like prison school, like the obnoxious fan service, stuff like that. So sort of having a more smorgasbord of subjects. Anyways, with that discussion down, we should move on to the news segment. and that came through a lot quicker than before. So, going on to the news segment, we actually don't have that much news these past 2 weeks, just because a lot of stuff has been like live action adaptation like announced, or fucking anime adaptation for this and that announced. So there's not a lot of unique like stuff going on, but we'll try to cover the best we can. First, just another notch on the Makoto Shinkai, the post Miyazaki director
Shut
of
up.
Destiny. His most recent film, Your Name, or in Japanese, Kimi no Nawa, has been submitted for Oscar consideration. The film will be considered for Best Animated Features. So this is going to be good. If it does win, it'll be really cool, and I do hope it wins. But then on the other hand, if it does win, he's going to be considered the post Miyazaki director until the end of time. Like they will have it on Wikipedia. Like this is the post Miyazaki director.
I hate that shit.
Oh my god.
Don't worry, guys. He's coming back. If he comes back, does it count as post Miyazaki anymore?
Yeah, that's true. On that news, on that piece of news, the official announcement is that Hayao Miyazaki is has presented a proposal for a feature anime film while he is currently working on a CG short for Ghibli Museum. So
I would like more money, please. Thank you.
yeah, he says he wants Hayao Miyazaki reported that he wants to return to making an anime feature film. However, blah blah blah. He also noted that if a feature would take him 5 years to make, he'll be 80 years old at the end. In the schedule listed in his proposal, Miyazaki suggested that the film could be done by 2019, before the 2020 Olympics in Tokyo. So, despite not officially receiving a green light for the feature film, Miyazaki decided to start animation work on the project anyways. He plans on creating storyboards for about 100 cuts of footage. This is just classic Miyazaki. He doesn't give a fuck. He's Miyazaki. So what do you guys think?
I don't.
How many times has he quit anime?
Like 6 million
Like,
times.
yeah, like
Who
60
cares?
million.
Like
After every movie he's made.
if he comes back, then yippee dippy. Like we get a new Ghibli movie or whatever. Like
Yeah.
if not, then, whatever, man. Who cares
Like
anymore?
just
like
die.
fucking, like go shit talk some other medium or something, man. Like fuck, you're so bitter and miserable.
uh, I think I think it's going to be unfortunate in a sense unless he pulls out a miracle, which for Miyazaki is not that low of a chance for him to pull out a miracle. But if he doesn't pull out a miracle, I think it'll be a bit worse than he expects. Because again, first of all, it's a different era or a different style.
Are you saying Miyazaki could produce something that isn't fucking perfection?
Oh, sorry. I'm
Yeah, it's
about to
called
just
Howl's Moving Castle.
Get out. Get out. You're
I'm
not.
about to
You
just-
don't even like anime, okay?
Yeah, this is already the 4PNA, the 4-player not anime cast. Just because I said this. Sorry, friends. It's over. But so it's
You're
gonna be a
done.
bit worse than I think what people might expect ideally, because it is his last gasp. It is his last chance to either show the world that he is sort of with it and still can he is quote unquote with the times but can also keep his style, or he's gonna sort of do this thing where it's like, this is me, this is Miyazaki, this has been my style all along, and this is one last sort of nostalgia film. And if he goes, sort of the nostalgia film route, sure, it'll be nice, people will eat it up because it's Ghibli, but it definitely won't have the same sort of shine that his most popular masterpieces did, because he's relying too much on that sort of style and not just really creating a good film, the best film that he thinks he can make. So I think he'll have to be really careful on that. It's dangerous because he doesn't want to be. He probably does not want to have his 5-year proposal, 5-year film, be the one where people were like, "Oh yeah, it was his last thing. It was pretty decent," and then the conversation ends there. That's a no go. Like you
It's
can't go out
okay.
like
It's
that.
okay, I guess.
Yeah, so that's a dangerous thing, I think, or it poses a significant danger. Anybody else have opinions on the master himself?
Fuck him.
Fuck him.
Is he gonna pull a Kojima and where he's just gonna break off and build his own studio when he's like 90 years old?
Yeah, and they use nanomachines to like revive himself. uh, a side note is that his
Did you know
son.
nanomachines can save the environment? By the way, I love the environment. It's in all of my movies. I'm the
So
master.
I made an amusement park about nature. I love nature. On a side note, his son Goro Miyazaki is currently supervising the Japanese release of a Chinese CG animated movie called The Monkey King. The hero is back. So
Is it a new Dragon Ball movie?
Doesn't he hate his son?
Yeah. He says he's talentless.
Yeah,
Uh,
maybe if he wasn't such a fucking asshole to his son could help him build a studio. But,
Maybe.
you know.
but it's gonna be. It looks like it's just like a classic, like Chinese novel kind of thing,
Yeah,
like about
Chinese
Sun
novel.
Wukong,
The
the
feature
Monkey
anime.
King. Yeah, the
And
classic.
it's gonna
So
be Chinese.
yeah, so if you like flashy Chinese action kind of thing, plus 3D CG based upon the Monkey King, watch out for that. Two more pieces of news. One is a bit sad piece of news. DTM magazine ceases publication. Will publish content on YouTube. DTM magazine launched in 1994 with an acronym standing for Desktop Music. The magazine specialized in covering electronic instruments and digital music, as well as digital music related software. The magazine also covered topics relating to vocal aid software such as Hatsune Miku. So that's shutting down. Unfortunate. More just like paper stuff, just like going down the drain after these sort of digital editions are coming out, right? And then the final piece of non-person news is that the Spice and Wolf create Isuna Hasakura is working on a new game called Project Lux, right? And then he says, and in the interview, Hasakura describes the game as a quote-unquote multi-ending VR game. I
What?
mean, multi-ending is just visual novel, right? That's not like whatever. It's a visual novel with multiple routes.
I'd certainly fucking hope that a visual novel would have multiple endings.
I mean, there are things that have just
There's some that don't. It's whatever.
but it's like most like, decent ones have more than one ending. But anyways, regardless, he says it's gonna be some multi-ending VR anime thing. So is this gonna be VR only? That's really weird. Like I don't know what's going on with this thing. Like what did they want to do? Hasakura emphasized that Project Lux will be a quote-unquote story-oriented work for VR, in contrast to recent VR works, which he described as experience-oriented. So he's creating a walk-through visual novel in VR. Okay. um, the thing is, it's like I like I like his thought. I like the direction he's going. I like the direction but in the end, like they're going to be two sort of quote unquote separate experiences, right? Like people are going to be like, oh, there's the VR portion of this game, and that's really nice. It's going to be like a lot of other VR games that are like out right now, right? Like where you're just going around kind of touching shit, right? And are interacting, whatever. And then there's going to be the story portion of it. So I don't understand how he thinks that he's magically going to integrate this story and experience when people are just going to treat it like, oh, well, you're interacting with VR. That's one part. Where's the story? Kind of thing. So I don't really have confidence in this. I'm gonna be honest. I think the story will be okay, although World and Economica did let me down a bit. But
Skyline.
Yeah. I did. I do have a little bit of confidence in the story, but I don't know about this. Like, oh, the story is magically going to be integrated with the VR technology. Like, that's not a thing. It's really not a thing.
What are you supposed to do with VR VNs? Are you supposed to like
Yeah,
if
it's
if it
gonna be
says
like an
like
RPG, right? It's just gonna be like an RPG.
it's like,
Yeah,
if it says like pat
exactly.
her on the shoulder, then you're just, like instead of a dialogue box, it's gonna tell you to. It's either like pat her on the shoulder to reassure or punch her in the face. Like okay, that doesn't make it a novel anymore.
Yeah, it's
Game.
kind of like whatever. Yeah, it honestly just sounds like an RPG, but with like VR. But that's just me.
A VRRPG.
VRPG, the VRPG, dude. You gotta be with the times. You gotta,
Visual
gotta
role
be hip.
playing game. Oh,
Taking Cyberpunk to a whole new level. Anyways, one last person news. Uh, so Takayuki Tsubaki, who is the 34-year-old Kamen Rider Blade lead actor, has currently sustained serious injuries when he was beaten in the face with a golf club at the end of a traffic dispute in Tokyo's Nakano Ward and Tuesday
what?
evening. As Tsubaki had stepped from the sidewalk onto the roadway after 9 p.m. on Tuesday in Nakano's Chuo area and engaged in an argument with a passing motorcyclist. Fuji News Network reports that Tsubaki was struck in the face with a golf club by the motorcyclist's younger brother who came to the scene.
What the fuck?
Wow,
I
he called in
believe,
backup from the shocker troops.
yeah, he apparently it'll take at least like several months to recover. But again,
Ah, cool.
please do wish him the best of recovery. Okay, with that said, we are done with the news. Again, pretty brief segment. Most of the stuff most of the news out currently are just like live action adaptations or whatever. And we come now to the callouts and shoutouts. For those of you who do not know, the callouts and shoutouts is just everybody gets one callout, one shoutout. The callout is one thing that you want to flame, talk badly about, -1, bad, whatever, and that can be one thing, one person, one anime, one nation, whatever. And the shout out is the exact opposite, something you want to praise to the heavens, butter up, whatever, and that it can also be one person or one thing. And you may have one shout out and one call out. Although we've actually kept the rule pretty well in the past, 10 or so episodes. So,
We have rules?
I thought this was an anarchy.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll go first. My call out is to the really poor translation effort done by Shadowverse people, and this is actually a bit more relevant just because it's like Japanese English kind of thing. Uh, I don't know what it is with like paid translators these days. Like, okay, I get it that you guys, a lot of these like anime people are not getting like the standard, like industry standard, like 44K, 45K. Okay, I get it. I sympathize with you, but like you guys are still doing a pretty shitty job. Like, I'm gonna be honest. Um, like there's one thing in Shadowverse where it's like there's one girl that's voiced by Ogura Yui. Ogura Yui, known for doing various voices and stuff like uh, what is it, Nakaimo and Henneko, Hentai Oji to Warawanai Neko and stuff like that. Usually doing much younger voices, uh, emote voices and stuff like that. But she does a voice when she loses, uh, and it's like "Watashi wa makedayo," which is like the phrase is essentially like "Oh, I lost." It's literally just like "I lost" in like a nice manner, and the English translation is like "Humph, I'm leaving." It's like what the that doesn't make any sense. It's not even close to the tone that she has.
It's a completely different character.
Yeah, and
Like,
they do like that sort of same like asshole tone for like the rest of her translations like stuff. I'm just like, why? Like why? Like there's no reason to do that. Like shit like that really triggers me sometimes. Where it's like it wouldn't even be like hard. It would be in fact easier to just translate it to "I lost." Like, but that sort of stuff just has to happen, I guess. Um, but yeah, that's one thing. And shoutouts to Kenton. I know I called him out earlier in the podcast, but really shoutouts to him for uploading all the old podcasts so I can, put it on the site and everything. So give him a big round of applause for finally getting it done, and so we can have all of our shit together in one place. All right, Nier.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't really have much to shout out. I fucking hate you, Toast. I was gonna, call out what was it? Oh yeah, the Ghost in the Shell live action movie. I don't know how many times I've called this out, but they released a couple of trailers not too long ago, and all of them are bad. Like, whatever. Looks like a bad movie. But in one of them, they actually got fucking Mamoru Oshii to be like, yeah, it looks good. And it's like, fuck you guys, man. Like, why? Like, I know the guy's under contract to say this shit. I know the guy's not gonna talk shit about the movie because then he's gonna lose money. Like, you actually have the fucking balls to pull him in here and be like, hey, people are shit talking this movie. Can you say something good? Like, fuck you, dude. Like, that's such a fucking petty thing to do. Like, it's fucking stupid. I don't have like anything to shout out because life sucks.
Nothing.
Everything is bad and nothing is good.
Yeah, like you could shout out Miyazaki for him starting a new anime film, dude.
Yeah, I could shout out Miyazaki for fucking hating anime for the past 6 million years.
Yeah.
And now he's like, hey, anime people, give me money.
Yeah.
I'm the legend. Did you know I love the environment? By the way, I love the environment. Watch my movies and you'll see how much I love the environment. I'm the master.
Do you not know this is still the Miyazaki era? Who is this Makoto Shinkai dude? Like, look at me. So
Double callouts.
Yeah, double every call out. All right, so we're already making the real toast. One shout out, one call out, please.
My shout out is Shadowverse. It's pretty neat.
Okay, what's your call out?
My call out is
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm pretty good. I'm pretty satisfied right now. I got some decent cards in Shadowverse. My raid just ended. I got some good stuff. Yeah, I'm good right now.
All right. So Dark. Shout outs and calls.
Man, shout outs to I don't know, what the fuck did I do?
Shout outs to something that you did.
Shit, I don't even know. I don't even know what the hell I was gonna shout out. I mean, Shadowverse is like okay, but it's also fucking terrible at the same time.
You just the salt, the salt is flowing through you at times, and you're
Yeah.
just like, oh, turn
I
six,
don't
I'm
have any
dead. Yeah.
fucking cards. But yeah, I mean, I guess like shout out to that. Like it's pretty good. I still like it more than no, that other game that's kind of like
Hearthstone.
Hearthstone. Yeah,
Yeah.
I still like it more than that.
Okay.
Call out,
doesn't have to be
yeah,
girls,
call out
right?
to the fucking shitty quest to get that fucking skin in WoW I'd been trying to get for like ever. Because that was like the worst
fishing?
fucking thing I've ever done. Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, wow, like they had to like fish at a specific spot for like hours on end, and apparently, it's not like it's like fishing in Pokemon where it's like you click on it and then you get a bite like after some time or whatever after a random interval, but the interval is so short you can't like go on like coffee break or anything. But like they just have to sit there and fish. So it was not exactly a popular thing.
What was I gonna say? Also, you know what? Call out to these guys in fucking Shadowverse that are like the lowest fucking rank that managed to have like the best fucking cards in the game apparently. Because I fucking come into a match and all of a sudden they're pulling out like fucking 3 legendaries and they're base in like their first fucking deck, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
I mean, yeah.
They
Sometimes
spent
that happens because people don't
$500
climb
back.
ranks. Yeah, that or they don't bother climbing ranks because it's like whatever. But yeah. So that's it for the shout outs and call outs for now. Again, just our schedule for the next couple of episodes is going to be pretty busy. Again, normal episode, preview episode. We're going to have a normal episode and then a winter 2016 preview episode after that, and then after that it'll be the 2016 awards show. We might bring in some people. We might celebrate, the end of 2016, stuff like that. Good shit. So yeah, with that we are done for today. And as usual, please do follow us if you do like what we do. We live stream and record our podcast where we talk about the latest and greatest in anime, manga, visual novels, light novels, etc., other Japanese media. Every other Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at twitch.tv/4PlayerAnimecast. That's with the number 4. And then we also sometimes stream, other stuff. Usually Japanese games, sometimes visual novel streams on other places. Please also follow us on Facebook and Twitter, our social media accounts, if you want to keep up on when we're streaming, what events we're doing on our Facebook and Twitter, both at Twitter at 4PPAnimeCast, again with the number 4, and Facebook at 4PlayerAnimeCast. We also have our own site, as I mentioned earlier, at 4PlayerAnimeCast.moe, again with the number 4, where we have all of our content, previous podcasts, sidecasts, interviews, etc., you name it. All there, and we also have a live stream page where we showcase both our Hitbox and Twitch.tv stuff so that you can view us in all our streaming glory in one page. So with that, we'll see you next time.
Bye bye.